Hi everyone, it's Nicole, the North Island Stitcher, and after about 6 weeks I'm finally doing a video. I know it's been a while, and first of all I want to thank everybody that has been patient and stuck by me to wait for the next video, and welcome to all new subscribers. It's awesome to see you all. Yeah, so what's been happening over the last 6 weeks? A lot. Children issues? When aren't there any children issues? The weather here at the moment has not been the best for the last couple of weeks in New Zealand. If many of you will already know about the cyclone that went through in Auckland and the major flooding that we've been experiencing. We got the tail end of the cyclone where we are, so we had a lot of rain and a lot of high winds, but thankfully no damage for us. But my heart goes out to everybody in Auckland who has had to deal with the aftermath of the flooding 2-3 weeks ago, and then the cyclone going through. Last night we had an earthquake, which was a pretty decent shake for us, to the point where I had both my girls jump into my lap, to the point I couldn't get up to get in the door frame because they jumped on my lap. But thankfully no damage, but it was a decent shake, and so yeah, we're all a little bit hyper vigilant at the moment. I had one finish, which I'll show soon, and only one start, and I've basically only been stitching on 2 things apart from the one start, which I only stitched on one day, which was a Carolin design at our Wellington Stitchy get together on I think the 21st of January, and yeah, that's when I started, and that's the only time I've worked on it. Other than that, I've been working on my whips, trying to get some finishes in. So one finish down, and hopefully by the end of February I'll have a second finish. So this won't be a long video. I don't have a major amount of haul either, apart from, you know, mail that came yesterday. Good timing for that. So I thought I might show you a bunch of previous finishes over the many years that I've been stitching. Otherwise it's going to be like a 10-minute video, and that's not very long. So I guess, you know, the only other personal issue that we had was my youngest has been diagnosed with vasovagal syncope, otherwise known as fainting syndrome. So now we know what she has, and now she knows that she's got to listen to her body, and she's got things that she needs to do. And since we have that diagnosis, she hasn't had any more fainting episodes, which is fantastic. She hasn't had any more major nausea or dizziness, so she knows what to do if she feels that, and we've explained it all to her teachers, so they know that when she's lying on the floor with her legs stuck up in the air, they know what she's doing, and so she's just like, leave her to do that, and she'll get up when she's feeling a lot better, and so she's not missing out on days of school, because last year she missed out on so many days because of it. But having that diagnosis is so important. So yeah, I guess that was a bit of a, you know, too many personal issues, I guess, but you know, you get that sometimes. So I guess we'll get into the whips. We'll get on to this finish first. Now, if you recall from last video, if you're new, you might want to go back and watch it. I was determined to get Mini Kitty Magic finished by the end of January. Now that didn't happen because I had about 7 or 8 days where I just didn't stitch in a row, and so no, it didn't get finished. It did get finished on the 2nd of February, but that's okay. And so I do have this finished for the year and so far, and that is Mini Kitty Magic from Heaven and Earth Designs, and this is stitched on 16 count Ada 2/1. And I started it in 2017, stitching it on and off, and yeah, got it finished on the 2nd of February. So I was really happy with this. So love my full coverages. So it's Mini Kitty Magic from Heaven and Earth Designs. So we'll just pop that over there. The other one, I'll show the new start that I had, which is the Carolin Arctic Blast. If you go onto her Facebook page, she's got Arctic Blast as a free design. And so I didn't have any Carolin Manning design, so I thought I would go and have a look, apart from like the snowman I got from a magazine that I have, and that's okay. So here is my progress on Arctic Blast. I will pop up a picture. So that's where I'm up to. That's one day's work. Started down in the bottom right corner. So just pop that down here and I'll grab a picture of what it will look like. And of course, because I want to find it, it's been a bugger and doesn't want to be found. And so this is what Arctic Blast is. So that's quite good. I did enjoy stitching it, and I do enjoy stitching it. The next one that I've been working on is a whip that I've started many years ago. I think it would have been 2018 or 2019, not sure which one, which is a Jackie B design, Pink Lady, and all the top half of her is completed. It's just the bottom half that I have to complete. And when I started stitching on her again this year, I didn't have any of the bottom half stitched. And so I just had the top half done. So I'm not going to take that side off, just to show a little bit here. And this is where I'm up to so far. This is on 28 count Lagana pink. And so I had all that top half completed, and I have, so far this month, I've got all that bottom section from about, they're down. I'm looking forward to having this one finished. This was a kitted gift that I had received from Nara, a dear friend of mine. And yeah, I think I needed to do it justice and get her finished, so that's what I've done. The needle minder is from a seller here in New Zealand. It's not the only needle minder I got from her. I only received it a couple of weeks ago. This is the needle minder. Tigers and butterflies, what more can you get? So we'll just pop that down there, and that's really all the stitching I have got for this month. That's literally all it is. So I guess we'll go into some haul. Now I know this isn't a new haul, but I am guessing by the end of this month I am going to finally get this one started. This one is Winter Rose Manor, and if you recall from a previous FlossTube, trying to get rid of the glare there, sorry guys, Jan Hicks helped me kit this up because I was having a bad time and I just was really wanting to get it kitted up, and I just couldn't think straight with the nut colours. So Jan Hicks from Jan Hicks Creates assisted me in kitting this up, so I'm very grateful for that. So I'm hoping to actually start that this month or early next month. And this is on a piece of fabric from this is from Eileen Thread Pickers. This is what I'm stitching it on. I know I've got a bit left over with it, but I really like it. I think it's really pretty. It's a little bit mottled. There we go, that's a bit better. Loving the colours. I think it'll look really pretty on there. So that's, haven't got a needle minder with it yet, but that won't take long. Just put that back, and this was in a bag I got from Judith Livingston. Love foxes. It's got foxes all over it, so that's what's in there. So yeah, I guess we're going into haul at the moment. At the Stitchy get together that I went to, the Wellington one, Cat Stitch was there, and she had made a few blingy bits for zipper pulls and that. So love my cats. So I bought this one, and it's got a little cat on the end with a little, like a cage with some little blingy bits in it. So we got that one, and one that says believe, because really I need to believe in myself more. And yeah, learned that over the last few weeks. Peace, because who doesn't need a bit of peace in their life? Especially when you have kids, and even when you don't. And I also got this one. This one's got a little mermaid on like a pearl. I don't know if I can get that to focus. There we go. And another little cage with little blingy bits in it. So that's that one. I also bought this little thing from this little bee egg, Easter egg thing, which has a Alice in Wonderland rabbit, and that's getting sent up to a dear friend of mine. We're just waiting for the weather to calm down a bit for that one, and to finish a couple of other things to go with it. In this one, which is the lighthouse, this was the other needle winder that I got with my tiger one. There's a little cat on a mushroom, and I can't remember the person I got them from, so please apologise for that. This is the lighthouse one that, if you recall, Creative Lee had finished, and I couldn't wait to go and get it. So that one, I've just got to finish kitting that one up. Got the piece of fabric from Paddock Lane. So that's those. The only other from Art and Frame down in Christchurch, I bought this chart, and I hand dyed my own piece of fabric for it. It's just on some 14 count Aida. I don't often use Aida, but yeah, it's a nice piece of 14 count Aida which I thought would look good with it, and kitted it up with all the cold foil threads, but I did swap one out because it had two colours, it had the same colour twice with two different symbols, and that just didn't make sense to me. So I had a good look at the lots of lovely colours. I had a good look at the chart and figured out where the two colours were and changed one out so that they were two different colours. So that's that bit. The only other haul I have got was a parcel I received from JK's yesterday, and it was a mystery package, and it came with lots of goodies. You never have too many needles, so they'll come in handy. Lots of needles. I'll just put these down there. A couple of tape measures, both in metric and imperial. Again, can never have too many tape measures. Now, I have heard of this before, but I've never used it, and that's the Mount Melick thread. If anybody has any idea on how that can be used, I think it's embroidery, and I think I've got a book at it at a friend's house. So Mount Melick. So yeah, I've got two skeins of that one. Some flat needles, which will be handy for my project bag making. Some thimbles, which will be pretty cool. I don't actually have any, so that'll be handy. A little angel treasure. I'm sure I can find a Christmas design to put that one onto. And a couple of little other treasures. So it's got pretty good. This was a mystery package, so it was good. I needed to get a new seam ripper. Now I don't. I have one. A reel of Kryneck, which is pretty cool. A scissor fob, which is also pretty cool. And a pair of scissors and another tape measure. But the scissors, I guess the scissor fob can go on the scissors. So that's pretty cool. And the other thing that was in here was a coaster thing where I can stitch something and pop it in. So that'll be quite fun to do at some point. My friend Judy from in Thames up in the upper North Island. Thames is not having a good time at the moment. Judy's been dealing with a lot of all of that with her work that she has and does. I hope it all calms down a bit for her and everybody that has been affected by it. So yeah, we certainly don't need too much more rain, that's for sure. And she sent me this one, and I think that's quite prophetic to some degree, because I surely do hope that things settle down up there for her. My heart goes out to you, Judy. I really, really do hope things settle down for everyone up there. So I really appreciate her sending me that. The other things I got from my mystery pack was a Photo Threads Images of Australia series of Uluru. I am an Australian, so this is actually quite neat to have. Been here for 22 years now. That's a long time. Also got a kit of a dream catcher. That's pretty cool. Comes with all the beads and the threads. It's on 11 count. I probably will swap that out and obviously then swap the beads out for smaller ones. But that's a pretty cool kit. I actually really like that one. Got a couple of Quaker styles. So it has that design, and that's from Willie's Quaker Squares one. So that's pretty cool. The other one I got was another Photo Threads of Australian pelicans. So that's pretty cool. Probably changed the fabric out because most of it's not background. And the other one I got was also a hoop, but I don't use hoops very often. Rarely use hoops. So at some point I might actually do a giveaway with that. That'll be cool. The other one I got was the DMC book that has 35 designs in it. It's got lots of really, really cool designs, like the butterflies that's on the front. The other one that I really liked, this one, which is pretty cool. It's a cool little neat one. Love the alphabet. This one's a really neat, pretty alphabet. The other one I really liked was, trying to do it without showing the chart. Doesn't show it as clearly as I'd like to, but it's basically like a sewing room. You know, scissors and all the, you know, stitchy stuff we all could use. I might need to do that for when I have a craft room. We can only hope. And as JK quite often does with hers, so I don't show my address, that would be bad. She always adds a little needle minder. Can never have too many needle minders. So that was pretty cool. JK's only sends to Australia and New Zealand though, but that's okay. Now the other good news that I have is as of the start of February I have been working. I'm no longer just a stay-at-home mum. I will be working 4 days a week, and I'm really, really loving where I'm working now. And where I'm working is in the haberdashery area. What could be better for me? So I've bought some bee fabric, which I'm going to be cutting up today, and this evening I'll be sewing up some project bags with it. So I've got some bee fabric, which I think is really cool. And this one is a New Zealand artist. There was only a couple of meters left of this fabric, so I just bought the last bits left. It's got lots of different birds on it, tuis and keraru, the fantail. So yeah, that's a pretty cool fabric. And I got some paw prints, which in the black background and a cream background. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, one thing that I didn't mention in my last video, which was a Christmas gift to myself. I also got my daughter one made up, but she's got her bag with her, and that's I I bought bags from the UK which were sent over. I use this when I go to work because I take my stitching with me. And it's got embroidered dragon on the front. And it's, love the lining, very it's the best lining for this one for where I live because I'm in New Zealand, so it's like the ferns. So it's got lots of little pockets on the inside. So yeah, I really love the bag. It's got side pockets so I can put a bottle of water on the side. Very much closed properly, of course. So that's all I have actually of new stuff and that. So I guess we'll get into some finishes that I've had from ages ago. So I guess we'll start on that. First of all, I did this, which is a flamingo girl. Finished this last year, I think. Might have already showed this one, but you might get some repeats. And that's okay too. So that was that one. I did this one, which was the Labyrinth Owl. What was that book there? Labyrinth Owl. I just did some extra outline there just to show it, otherwise it would blend into the background. Pause, you're wet. Off you go. No, don't knock the camera over. Then he shakes. We all cop it. Apologies for the movement. I know I showed these ones last year. This is the two little ones that I finished last year when I just needed something small to work on. Still haven't fully finished them. I'll get there. This one, which I did last year, one of my favourites, and it's of three, two animals either side and a raccoon in the middle. So I really enjoyed those ones, so that's pretty cool. Cottage garden samplings, I think they are. This one I got from a Halloween magazine. I think I showed this last video actually. Oh well, get to see it again. I don't do Halloween generally, but I really like this design, and I think it's perfect on this fabric. So that's that one. This was the 2021 Peppermint Purple sale. I still haven't finished the 2022 one. No. Yeah, no, this is the 2020 sale. 2021 or 20 was when I finished it. So and I've got the 2022 one going. No, it is the 2021. I didn't do last year's. Okay, so here we'll go. I have my finishes on skirt hangers because it just keeps them nice and flat and not all over the place. So my first one on this pile is Pain Free Crafts, Esmeralda. This is my husband's favourite of my finishes. Any guess why? Typical male. This is a HAED finish, butterfly blue. This was finished many years ago. I actually can't remember the year. I think it was 2018. And this is a quick stitch. It's not quite my first foray into HAED, but I think it was my first HAED finish. The other one is Splendid Blue from Carolin. This is definitely one of my favourite finishes. All the specialty stitches and the beads and the silks, and it's definitely one of my faves. It's a chatelaine design, This one is from KLT. That's where I was just doing a lot of quick small ones. I should hurry up and get them framed. I will eventually. It's Hummingbird. This one is another KLT using Darling silk from Mrs. Sadis. This one I finished last year. In May last year. Really enjoyed doing that one. It was a quick one. This one was finished last year as well. This was from another Stitchy Day. We had to do something Christmassy, and then we had a few free charts that we could choose from, and I chose this one. I can't remember who did this one. I'll have to find that one out. I can't remember. I apologise for that. But I know it is in one of my other videos because I did show it. Twin Peak Primitives, I think. And I love this. I did some changes to the trees, added some snow and added some back stitching, some extra stitches. And I'm really happy with that. This one is a Lizzie Kate. I did this one last year. This is on Ashes from Country Stitch, 32 count. Love the little owl. There we go. Sorry if I poke my head in. Need to see where I can stop. I cannot pronounce this lady. Nad. I cannot. I'll have to, when I edit, I'll have to pop her name down the bottom because I can't remember her name, sadly. But this was a mystery sow, and many of you will probably have seen this. So if I don't put it down below, I do apologise. But I really thoroughly enjoyed stitching this one. I love owls and foxes. This one I did for my children. It's a Dimensions kit. Stitched on the called for fabric. Instead of happiness is having friends, I put happiness is having sisters. And I put their names under them and their date of births. Because there's 4 of them all up. One's my stepdaughter, but she's still a sister, so she's in there. This one I think is Lighthouse Designs or Unicorn Designs on Etsy. I should actually label them for future reference. And if I had my book over here, I'd actually be able to tell you because it's all in there, but I didn't bring my book over today. So I'll just refer to that and pop the names in there. And I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed doing this one. I just started this, I think, in April last year. And I finished it in May. It's one of the few designs that has literally kept me continuing to stitch on it. I just haven't stopped. And I absolutely love it. And this one, I found this on an antique page. And I know several other people have been doing it recently too. And it's got an additional rose border. Obviously I haven't done the rose border. But I love peacocks. So this is another peacock fabric. And didn't do it all monochromatic, decided I'd add some colour to it. Apart from the black, the rest are Silks for You silks that I'm using. And I think this blue, the darker blue here, is a DMC as well. 930 I think. But yeah, just on a piece of sparkly Lugana fabric. Don't know if the sparkle shows up. Maybe you need to turn it that way for the light to shine on it. I'm by my window so we have good light so you can see things. So that's that one. This one I did for he's now 20 years old, my son. This is his birth sampler. I'm going to hold it up too long because, you know, some personal details on there. But that's my son's birth sampler. This is my youngest daughter's sampler, the Little Miss painting. And there's several footprints on here. And so I'll show one footprint so we can see where that it's a footprint. Yep, and each footprint has all her siblings' names and date of birth on there. And the little saying down the bottom says, "Footprints are the marks of love our children leave on our hearts and souls." And that saying I just pulled out of my head. It's that one. Oh, she was a big girl when she was born. And this one is Miss Nines. She loves fairies and still does. And Kendra, ages ago, wanted me to do this design when she saw it. So, you can't say no. So she wanted Bunny in a bathtub. This is from a calendar from one of the Stitchy magazines. So, yeah. She wanted that one, so we stitched it up for her. We got to get it framed up on a wall, probably above her bed. Guess we'll go on to the next lot of hanging finishes. Here we go. This one is an Ursula Michaels design. So, yeah, that's that one. This one is KLT, Geode, on some 14 count coffee dyed fabric. There is a green in there, it's hard to see. This one is just from Circus Stitches on Etsy. Long Live the Adventure. Basically like a globe. This is just on some blackberry dyed fabric. Thought I'd try some natural dye, so I used some blackberries that I had growing in the backyard. They're now since been pulled out because they like to take over the backyard, so they got pulled out. This was a Stony Creek pattern. I can't remember the booklet name, I do apologise. Clarinet, I do have one. Wasn't able to do a lot of practice over the last couple of years because I had thumb surgery and that thumb actually had to hold it up, so yeah, it was a bit hard to. And the black is got Chronic 032 and the buttons have Chronic 032 with some white thread. So I was really pleased with how that turned out. This one is a Lynart kit, one of the elemental ones, because they have an earth, water, fire, air. And this is a water one. And I started this so many years ago and then I stopped doing it because one of my older two, he's now 20 and the other one is 15 in April, decided to cut the fabric, and I stopped doing it because I was worried that the stitching would be too close to it. But thankfully that is not the case, but I need to do some clever framing so it doesn't show up. And because I had it in hoop, which is why I don't like hoops, it's not as clean as I'd like it to be. So there's some marks on it I need to somehow get off still. But that was years ago I did that one. This one is a Jodie design, Big Ben, on 16 count pink Ada. This is another one that kept my attention for a while. I finished it, started it and finished it. Just love the colours. This was a freebie during the pandemic, and please accept my sincere apologies, I can't remember who it was that put it out. And this one is it, and it basically says, have a heart that never hardens, a temper that never tires, a touch that never hurts. And at the time, I think a lot of us could kind of go with that. This is one I designed myself. Should hurry up and get it framed. Really love how it turned out. Yeah, not much else I can say about that one. This one, I no longer have who it was by, because the chart has since been passed on. I'll have to look in my book. This is this one I did buy the chart from Art and Frame in Christchurch. And a friend of mine thought I should put little yellow dots underneath the reindeer. Well, obviously I didn't do that. But we did have a good giggle about it. Loved doing the house. I used a DMC variegated brown, the variegated brown one, and just carefully picked which bricks to do, depending on where it was. That was a lot of fun doing that. This is one of my husband's wedding sampler. This is also a Jackie B design. Loved making that one. This is a lavender and lace, one of the Christmas ones. This is the one with the wreath. This was a lot of fun to stitch. I was sent the chart from a friend of mine down in Nelson, and basically kitted it up straight away and kept stitching it till it was finished. Another one that kept my attention. But yeah, absolutely love doing this. This is an artisy design. Hold it up the right way. This is the guitar landscape. Using the called for colours. This was another one that kept my attention from start to end. This is a Jodie Designs heart tree. I didn't use the called for colours, I picked my own colours. They're all Silks for You. But I did have a lot of fun. I also added some extra hearts. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. This is a Shannon Christine design. I know she has a companion to it, which I haven't got yet, which I'm sure I probably will at some point. This is on 32 count dyed fabric that I've done. I didn't use beads on it, I used a bunch of metallics. I used some diamante metallics instead of beads, but it still looks really pretty. This is another one that I got off the, I can't remember what site I got it off, but it was a freebie. This is on 20 count Balana from Jodie, and it's a mermaid, and the greeny blue is Mosale thread that's called Cyril in honour of my dad. And my daughter loves it, apart from the fact that I've made it anatomically correct. She wasn't impressed with that. She thinks I should have covered them, but mermaids aren't particularly covered. This is a Long Dog sampler, part of the foursome reel, and I've got the longer one of the foursome reel in progress, and that's probably going to be my next one to go on to once I finish Pink Lady, to get that one finished. Just picked out my own colours. A bit of fun doing that one. And this is from the Hand of Friendship. That's what it says on there. Yeah, so I really like how that one turned out. And I do have a few rolled up because they're just too big to even put on the skirt hangers. So here we go through those ones. Just pop them down here. Here we go. Sorry for the delay. This was a tapestry I did probably, I think, about 15 years ago. And I'm sure one of the colours are in the wrong spot. But I can't do much about it now. And as you can guess, you can probably guess it's this orange on the legs. It's just not quite the right colour. We might have to rectify that. But it's actually quite prophetic to a certain degree, because my 14-year-old is now doing a lot of ballet. And this year she's going to be starting competitions, so that'll be a bit scary for her. This one is a KLT design. It's a very, very big one. So as your wings were ready but my heart was not. And Major Big Feather. These are using a lot of different KLT, a lot of different Moselle threads. This was one I actually started and kept going for. I didn't really stop doing this one, and I finished this in 2019. See, I've even dated that one. Right down the bottom there. So that's pretty cool. But that one has to be rolled up because it's just too big. We put that one over there. This one is a Moselle design. Again, my love of owls. There we go. I'm trying to fit it all in. This is on 14 count Aida that I dyed, and I've just used some sparkly thread for some stars in the background. Really happy with how it turned out. Changed a little bit in the tail, but I'm really, really happy with how that's turned out. That one was one of my favourites. This is a Charting Creations Silhouette Fairy. I think it's Charting Creations. I could be wrong. Apologise in advance. I will have to look it up. I know Nara from Nara's Crafts is also doing this one, but I finished mine. Hers is still in progress. I definitely think it's Charting Creations Silhouette Fairy. Love how it turned out. That one was finished in 2018. Now this is one I didn't stitch personally, but was given to me by an absolutely lovely lady down in Nelson, not Nelson, goodness me, it is Nelson, isn't it? Yes. Duh. Brain's having a grey moment. And she loves wolves and I love wolves. And so she stitched that and then sent it up to me. So I've got to get it framed up on my wall. Got to give it justice. Grandmother Fairy. Lavender and Lace. I was really strange and I thought I would do 1/1 for her face. Made a big boo-boo, tore the fabric and managed to make it look right. So this is Grandmother Fairy. Loving all the beads, but yeah, I'm really pleased that I was able to fix it. It was only a little tear, not a big one thankfully, but yeah, can't really tell on the back. Still looks good and I'm really pleased at how it turned out. This one is Chakra from Seba Designs. I started this during our lockdown here in 2020. This was my lockdown piece. And this is my Chakra. On 25 count black Lugana. 2 threads over 2. It is big it's meant to be. Using a lot of Silks for You and Mrs. Sada's, no, not Silks for You, sorry, Thread Picker Silks, all bar one. This one here is Mrs. Sada's Darling. The rest are all Thread Picker Silks. And that one I finished in 2021, approximately a year after we, yep, February, not quite a year, after I started it. Praiseworthy Stitches. There's a Christmas design that I was sent, a mystery pack that I was sent with the colours already there with it. It was a lovely kit. Mystery fabric. I don't know what the fabric's called. It is a 32 count. 2/2. And yep, really love that. I've got the frame for it, just haven't framed it yet. This is a Lynette design. Have no idea what it's called now. I've still got the leftover threads from it, so but off the top of my head I can't think of it, but it is a Lynette chart. And again, another reason why I don't like hoops, because I was using hoops then. But I love how it's turned out. Let's go this way. Didn't quite start it in the right position since it's over to one side a bit more, but plenty enough for me to frame it, and I will get it framed at some point. And I really, really love this design and how it turned out. Glendon Place, Plum Pudding. Again, I didn't use beads. This is on a 28 count. I didn't use beads, I used some metallic threads, but I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. Yep. This one is QS The Roof from Heaven and Earth Designs. I do have other finishes, but they're hanging up and I'm not pulling them down. So I'm only going to show the ones that I haven't framed yet. QS The Roof. But I'm really, really happy with it. Looks like my eldest daughter, although she would tell you, oh no, it's not quite right, but it's enough for me. This is probably not the favourite finish, that would be my chatelaine, but this would be the next one. This is Mini Dragon Soul, and this is on 16 count. Is it 16? No, this is on 14 count. It's a big one. And it's got a lot of Chronic 032 in it, so it's a bit sparkly, but I love dragons, and so this one, the little dragon sitting on her hand. I love the circle, the way the dragon is in the circle. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favourites. And that was finished in 2018, just after my mum went back home, because my mum came over for 14 days. No, 10 days. 10 days. And I hadn't seen my mum at that point for 17 years, 16 years. So it was good to see my mum. So I now video chat my mum every week. We didn't always at that time, but we do now. And yeah, I miss my mum. Keep an eye on her, make sure she's alright. And she's doing good. So, I guess, apart from that, I haven't been watching a lot of FlossTube. I'm mainly just sticking with the ones that I pretty much chat to most of the day, so that'll be Dizzy Stitcher. I watch him a lot. Wombat Hollow Crafts, which I'm going to probably watch this afternoon. Creative Lee, and oh, that's the other thing, I got a kilo of walnut shell from Creative Lee, and I'm really appreciative that she dropped that off to me on Sunday. And yes, thank you Creative Lee, and many apologies again, you already know what that's about. Yeah, but apart from that, I don't think there's anything else that I can show. Linda, if you've got to the end of the video, and I was meant to mention your name earlier, you might want to rewind, because that was a whole lot of finishes. No point stitching when you're watching that. So that is the end of my video now, and I wish everybody the best. I hope everyone in Auckland is getting the help that they need and finding accommodation, because I know so many have lost their homes, and my heart goes out to you all. And on that note, stay safe, keep dry, don't be afraid to ask for help. Toodle pip everyone.